When you think of the most dominant creature on Earth, what comes to mind? If considering sheer size, perhaps you immediately thought of the ocean and the largest animal that's ever lived, the blue whale. Or perhaps thinking of strength and ferocity, you imagined lush forests full of fearsome big cats. Or maybe quite sensibly, you thought of us, human beings, the most intelligent and one of the most widespread animals on the planet. But if you were to walk down the sidewalk or lean against a tree, the first animal that you would likely encounter is something small, an ant. Their total population is around 10,000 trillion, and when combined, their total weight would be about the same as the weight of all human beings. In biomass and an impact on ecosystems, these small animals are arguably the most successful creatures to have ever lived. Ants have colonized almost every landmass on Earth. Their presence is so significant that they have directed the evolution of countless other plant and animal species. Aggressive, warlike, but also cooperative and altruistic, ants living in colonies exhibit some of the most complex behaviors of all insects. And the colony is the only thing that matters in the lives of ants. Their loyalty to it is absolute, and in their service to it, they exhibit some of the most complex social behavior in the animal kingdom, giving rise to their nearly complete ecological conquest of the Earth. How do ant societies work? And what is it about the colony that has made ants so successful? Is it as simple as strength in numbers? Or is it something more? Even though insects were among the first animals to colonize land, cooperative insect societies are a relatively recent development. The first insects emerged around 400 million years ago, but ants didn't emerge until much later, around 100 million years ago. They lived among the dinosaurs, and for a long time did not rule the landscape. This was the era of the giant dragonflies, cockroaches, and termites. It wasn't until 60 million years ago that they became the dominant insects, and since then, they have truly flourished. Today, there are around 16,000 different species of ant, and they are found on every continent except Antarctica. The competitive edge that allowed ants to become a world-dominant group is their highly developed colonial existence and specialized social structure. Ant societies are broken up into two castes, a non-reproductive worker caste and a reproductive royal caste. The queen is the only reproducing female of the entire colony, and the colony exists to serve her and her alone. The birth of a colony begins with the birth of a queen. The life of a queen begins when its mother queen lays a special kind of egg, different from the millions of regular worker eggs that the queen ant will lay in her lifetime. These special eggs are laid when the colony passes a certain size, and when they hatch, they produce ants that are larger than regular workers and have wings. These are the reproductive males and young queens. During what's called a nuptial flight, these winged ants take to the air and mate with each other, after which the males die and the females drop to the ground, scrape off their wings, and begin to search for a place to dig their nest. Few get far in this journey. Predators snag most of these young queens before they can establish themselves. Only around 1 in 500 new queens has a chance at success, but those that do succeed become the single egg-laying queen of their new colony. Over the course of her life, a queen ant can lay up to 300 million eggs, depending on the species of ant, and the vast majority of these eggs hatch into dedicated worker ants, female ants whose lives are devoted to the queen's welfare and reproductive activity. At any given time, there are millions of worker ants maintaining the colony. There can be many different types and many different sizes of workers even within a single colony. Some care for larvae, others excavate tunnels, others build amazing structures, while others leave the nest and search for food, or go to war with neighboring colonies. And surprisingly, it's the ant workers themselves who ultimately decide the fate of their young, choosing which worker caste they'll develop into. Larvae develop into different types of workers based largely on the nutrition they receive. Those fed more insects than seeds are more likely to become larger individuals. For leafcutter ants, the polymorphism that exists among the workers is extreme. The largest workers, called soldiers, defend the colony, while the medium-sized workers collect leaves, excavate tunnels, or collect garbage. and the smallest workers raise the young and cultivate and farm fungus, the only food source for the whole colony. The workers toil away in flawless synchrony, in a flow that looks chaotic to our eyes, but is in fact based on a complex system of communication, a chemical and physical language invisible to us, but